Thanks for staying with us now. Social media was flooded with photos of Debola Williams and his lovely wife, Kende Williams, the daughter of a highly politically relevant public figure, Otumba Gbenga Daniels, last week. Now, and different conversations sparked up in different gatherings on how Debola Williams' wedding was the move for him to marry his sweetheart, was a very strategic one, as he's positioning himself for his political ambition. So while that might be true or false, it's not our conversation tonight. I want no concern us. However, we want to talk on the subject that was raised about social climbing, and we are asking, is it a bad thing? In an age where people are ready to admit to an extraordinary variety of misdemeanors, it would remain genuinely shocking to confess to a strong interest in meeting the rich, the famous, the powerful people, as well as in fending off the appeals of lesser acquaintances whose careers have not yet developed as they might have done with the richer people. So you can be sure that there's a problem of honesty when society spends its time brutally condemning a behavior which most of its members seems to be quite interested in. So it's perhaps time to take a frank look at the phenomenon of social climbing and see what exactly is wrong with it, and is there any time when it might just be okay to social climb? Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Okay. Where am I going to start with? I want social climbers.
Let's give the honors to our guests.
Why did you go there? Okay, Ogona, you have the floor. So, social climbing has always been, it will always be. Do you understand? Parents take their children to certain schools because they want to meet the father of the governor. The father of the child of the whatever. Networking. It has always been in existence. So why is it that we are hypocritical as a people? Because in different spheres we do it. Is it joining a PTA meeting, joining the leadership of PTA, or is it joining different things in church? You join certain kinds of service units because those are the service units that bring in that cater to strategic guests. Probably when they're having a big guest co-anchor, so you join the protocol unit because you know that they will post you in charge. So these are things that we do silently, but we now come out like being hypocritical about it to say, it's a bad thing. I beg. Tell me, is it a bad thing?
In my own honest opinion, social climbing. Social climbing is, it's not a bad thing. And I'll tell you why. Because everyone does it, whether you know it or not, whether you intend to or not. It's just how you move up in the world. So you want your career to move. You have to associate with certain people who would see you, inquire about you, verify you, and then move you forward. There's no other way around it. And most people, or one or two people that I know, who are in Nigeria and in Africa, we'll call them boys of this person or boys of that person. They've been made governors, they've been made ministers,
commissioners,
they've been made publishers. They shadowed maybe Abiola or this person or that person, and now they're big men themselves. But give them 1993, 1992, they were somebody's boy. It's just what it is, and you just have to do it if you want to progress. If you don't want to progress, that's fine. Stay where you are. Like you mentioned, people going to certain schools, not necessarily to join the PTAs of those schools or to be able to associate with certain kind of parents. They just want a better opportunity for their kids. I went to school with certain kind of kids as well, and I know where all of us are today. Matter of fact, I went to school with the Daniel kids, and it's just what it is. It was. I don't think my parents intended for me to go there because other big people's kids were there. No, it was just the good school at the time, and that's what it is.
How is your parent? My friend told me. He said, "I want my children to be friends of the children of Dangote."
Yes.
So that is why she's spending heavily to take them to certain schools.
So Kate Middleton is from South Africa, a nobody, and she's married to a prince now, or is soon to be king. Where did she meet him? In school. So was that a good move for her parents? Yes.
Totally.
So what's anybody saying? And another thing is, social media has made social climbing almost like a necessity. If you're not posting certain pictures if you're not being seen with certain kind of people, then in a certain kind of crowd, at a certain kind of function, then you probably don't belong.
Like the wedding that we attended on Saturday.
You know,
I like the fact you
that's
used
what it
this
is.
word, I belong. There was a movie back in the in early 2000 that Omotola Jalade acted, and I don't know if you know that movie. It was titled I Belong. Look, there was nothing. It has its good sides, like you said, but in this context, if you now analyze it in this context, Omotola did everything in the book to belong.
Okay.
She lied, like the quote. She cheated. She was so self-absorbed. In fact, she even, J.T. Tom West, God bless his soul, was alive back then. And when there was a plane crash, she was forming that she was the big girl, and you know, her parents lived abroad, and she was everything. And when there was a plane crash, J.T. Tom West wanted to marry her, and he said, "Okay, look, baby, I need to make this happen. Let's go, let's do this quickly." Omotola was thinking about her mother in the village. And all she could think of was, how am I going to get out of this? And what did she do? The moment there was the plane crash,
She said her mother died.
they showed it on TV. She said, how? My parents were in that plane.
And they just died.
And I think her name was Obama, you know? So, Obama, and she had such a beautiful name, and she discarded it for another name like that, one funky name like that. So, look, it has its pluses and it has its minuses, okay? We have seen issues of individuals who cannot afford a given school, but because of what networking, bam, they want their children to go to that school. And at the end of the day, they go back to the school and tell them, please don't announce my children's name that they are owing school fees. We will come back and pay you at so time. You see, it happens.
She's talking from a deep place. She's a teacher.
She knows. It happens, basically. So there are just a few out of the whole works. And tomorrow, if you go and marry a pauper, believe me, your parents will say, who is his father? So at the end of the day, it still comes back to social climbing. And who has social climbing? Social climbing is about the elite. You can't come from here and come here. You have to go up the ladder.
I also think social climbing is not even that easy. You know why? You're not just accepted. Nobody just welcomes you in with open arms like, oh, you're so smart, oh, you're so beautiful. So what?
Look, it's all about,
you know,
class.
It takes a certain amount of time, a certain amount of applied pressure to get in.
Pressure.
And
pressure.
Yeah.
let me come to Elsie.
So I mean, from what she just said, I think social climbing is a strategy. I don't think there is. It becomes bad when you overdo it, like everything else.
When
it's
it
just
becomes
like
desperate.
what we were talking about it before we came on, which is when you talk about jealousy and people tell you this person was so envious of me that she went this way to sabotage me. I mean, every one of us has got a level of envy and jealousy in us. It becomes a problem when you decide to act on it in the wrong way. I mean, you see somebody doing good and you wonder, oh, okay, of course you wish you were the one, but then you're happy for the person and you're focused and you know what you want to do for yourself. So I think that's how I look at social climbing as well. I think it sounds better when we call it networking because everybody does it. For you to get up to say, like she said, you want to move from point A to point B, some certain people would have to associate with you. They have to know that you are there so that they can remember you when there is something to do. But when your social climbing begins to make you become a bad person, dishonest, then you are going away from what is supposed to be to becoming that demon that you already were. Because if you did not have the lies in you, if you did not have the dishonesty in you, if you did not have those
No, but
vices
can you actually
I
social
don't
climb
think
in certain setting? You know, there is the 1% of the 1%. Can you actually social climb in those settings without having to create a false persona of who you are? So now, for instance, you want to meet with sister. I know people that strategically bought business class ticket. They were monitoring agents.
it's a strategy, like you said.
Wait now, but it's not who you are. So at some point, you know,
can't even afford it.
you can't afford it. You understand? So therein lies the lie, because
investment.
you have to go and buy. You say it's investment. You're owing agent. Agent is calling you. You know. Then people had to register. Ikoyi Club was a big deal. You know. Now I mean, it was. I think it was Ikeja Country Club first. It was
Yes.
the country club.
All
You know,
those
all those associations. You know, they were big deals then, because it meant that
Still is.
whoever is a member there is able to meet with, you know, the 1% of the 1%. You know, and you know they are able to
You're still going for it.
push.
Remember when VGC was the place?
Yes, VGC was a place. Now it's Banana Island. You know, I went to pick up my son at what did they call the place? Eco Atlantic. I said, okay,
Yeah,
it's not a
I mean,
bad
that place is
neighborhood.
beautiful.
You know, but I know I cannot
it's
afford
scary
it.
as
You know,
well.
but let me hear your thoughts. So where does it become a problem, right? Where does it become a problem that you now get to that point? You are so desperate, because I've seen people. Because you mentioned something, Gona, before we came on. You said something about, even though, for instance, let's go back to Debola's marriage to Kende. If there was no connection, there's no how that will happen. But we've seen cases of people that got married. You know, after 1 month like this, 2 months, the thing began to scatter, because the goal was just to position in a certain light. So where does it become a problem? You know, because we all do it. Let's all admit that we all do it.
Absolutely.
I
Depends
think
on the level.
it becomes a problem when your desperation surpasses your consciousness. It becomes a problem when and we have such problems, and social media has exacerbated those people and made them a bit more obvious. They are the people who need to be talked about every 2 weeks. They are the people who need to be in the news, on certain blogs, saying sensible things, nonsense, cutting into so many, whatever conversation is going on, they have to put out an opinion and all that. So that is when you start realizing, okay, something is going left here. But other than that, if it's just for association in terms of career moves, in terms of personal circles, you want to be seen and known in certain circles, either for what you do or because every industry has a circle. You're either in or you're out, or I mean there's certain levels to the circles anyway, but you should be able to have access all the way through if you know what you're doing. If you don't, then you have to work your way up, which is the times when artists say, oh, I've paid my dues, I did free shows. Those were all social climbing, because you have to put yourself out there for cheaper, for people to think you're bigger than what you are, so that by the time you start charging $100,000, $200,000, then they're like, okay, you're actually worth that kind of money, you know. So a Burna Boy now would be able to charge what he charges because he has won a Grammy to prove it. But prior to now, there were times when he felt underrated, and we all know that. But he kept pushing, he kept working. You have to just keep trying to move up the ladder. The ladder is just not going to hand itself to you. And if you call it social climbing, so be it.
Well, according to the definition, let me look for the synonymous words to social climbing. So I went into my dictionary and I got these words, and they were a babbit, a tuft hunter, a manipulator,
Wow.
a status seeker. Now, this was the one that caught me. Ambitious. Now, if you are ambitious, let's look back. You know, I like books. Let's look back at Macbeth. If we read Macbeth, it was because he wanted to climb that status. Basically, everybody wants to climb that status. We want to get there. But how do we get there? You called it strategy. You called it networking. But I am still against it. I will still state it in the fact that it's in the bad light, because if you are not manipulated, you cannot successfully
Social
do
climb.
it.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Well, true.
I think so.
But I agree with you. But
Yes.
don't you think that we all have been manipulative at some point in our
I was
lives?
going to say yes.
I agree, but
Okay. So-
that's why I stated it. If you are not a good, you can be
Good.
manipulated.
So that means I'm an excellent manipulator.
So if you're not a good manipulator, you cannot social climb. And because of that, Macbeth had that problem. And he kept on doing a lot of hidden mistake things, bad things along the way to get to his goal. It's not a bad thing to be ambitious, but when it becomes a do or die affair, that is when there is a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah, I
that
agree
is
to
where
that.
you need to know where not to lose yourself in the cause of social climbing.
Okay.
For me, I even wanted to answer the question you asked earlier in terms of being hypocrites and if we're not hypocrites. And I think it just cuts across on everything we do. Human beings would always criticize what they don't understand.
Exactly.
They'll criticize what they know they
Do you
cannot
understand?
succeed at. Right? So they probably want to do exactly what you are doing, but because they cannot
They don't
do
know
it,
how.
and you're probably not creating that space where everybody comes in and feeds off you, you become the bad person, or you become that person that people want to tear down. Now, if you want to still take it back to this wedding or whatever it is,
If he is, he go and marry Benga Daniel's
you know,
daughter.
so it's if I mean I deliberately do not want to look at his union in that light, but if it is what it is, then it is what it is. You know, and I'm also consciously thinking of what these conversations would do to them as a couple,
As a couple.
you know, because even what if this was not the case? Because I read his piece on, I think, one of these magazines where they had to do like an open up before the marriage, and he was talking about how he woke up in 2020 and he just knew that he was ready to marry. You know, Debola has always been there. When you make the list of the top 10 eligible bachelors for 2019, he's there. Like, he's always been in that news, and people have been asking like, when are you going to get married and all. But for him, he said he didn't feel those pressures until 2020, and he knew within him that he needed to get married, and he just knew that God was going to do it for him that year, and that was the year he also met his beautiful wife, you know. So I mean, it could also be that just happened because Debola has worked his way up. Like, this guy is not a small fry. When you talk about those who were behind the PR of our wonderful boo-boo today, that is our president, he is
Was he the
masterminder
was he
In
the
fact,
author
he's
of
the one.
PR, and of course that does not come with it doesn't come with peanuts. It is money.
In fact, that's why people
He's
are
been
saying
in the
that
game for a long time.
his political ambition is a bit shaky because that move that he did.
Which one?
No, the presenting Bubu to us now.
He did his job as
Yeah,
a PR
he did his
person.
job,
You
yes,
know,
and
so
he did an excellent
he's-
job.
This guy we're talking about, maybe aside from the father-in-law now being a figurehead in the political world, he's not a poor boy. He's not someone that you cannot associate with. I don't know who is who in the country that would say you mention his name and they don't know him. He has worked himself to that point. The only defining factor now is the fact that these people are a family in politics. But beyond that, he's a big deal as well. There are a lot of women who also wanted to be with him because they wanted to social climb. He was there at that point.
So let's take a break because I liked what you said. I mean, I just like what you said now about him, but I don't want us to focus too much on him. But the truth is, if he didn't work himself to that standard, I don't think even the family itself will accept him as his son-in-law.
You know, he met her through a dinner.
Yeah.
The father invited him.
Yeah,
You know,
so but we'll take a break. We're not talking Debola Lagos. I want to ask a question. Do you understand? You know, but that social climbing is meant for everybody. Is it everybody that has to social climb? Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we're asking, is social climbing a bad thing? And if you had the opportunity, would you social climb? Elsie,
Can
would
I
you
ask
social
a question?
climb? Yes.
What does everyone really think Big Brother is?
Hold on. Let me bring in our audience. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Then also, our phone line is now open. please call us on 07025007749. It is 07025007749. And when you call, please turn off the volume of your television set and keep your conversation within a minute. Big Brother is the Baba of social climbing.
So why are we complaining? I'm totally
I think
don't understand.
everyone here now, if they gave you an opportunity to go to the Big Brother house, would you or would you not go?
Not everyone, of course. I'm sure she won't be there. I
wouldn't
can
go
speak for
there.
her.
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go.
Mine is a maybe.
No.
But Ugonna, you will go, right?
No, I wouldn't.
I like to watch them though, but I don't want to partake in it.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
drama,
really.
maybe
Why would
because
you
I've
not go?
been able to see through them.
I honestly can't share bathroom. It's just that simple. Yes.
You can't share
So
bathroom.
beyond that, if they can create your own bathroom. that
If I
works.
would be in the head of house room for like forever, that just means I would have to fight and struggle every week. But yeah, it would be
okay.
fun to be honest.
Okay, so we have
Social
Peter. We have
climbing,
our first caller for the evening. Thank you, Peter, for calling us from Benin. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say. You're live. Hello, Peter, are you there?
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
I always listen to your program. I'm a good admirer of what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
But for me, I would have preferred a topic, social networking is better for me. Use the word social climbing. We, in this part of the world, in Nigeria, would like to rationalize materialism. We have issues that can better our country in terms of raising our values. I don't see a situation where I need to spend to please somebody all in the name to be in an Ikoyi club, to be in a very big wedding, to be in a circle for me to be a fulfilled human being. Obama worked on himself and he made just one speech after coming to Africa, and he became the president of America at the age of 48. And at 55, he had already done his job. If you work on yourself, you don't need any circle, anybody's approval to be a success in this world. A network situation happens. If you are good and you have worked on yourself and the opportunity comes, when you people talk, and when they hear what you have, because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. When you speak, in 1 minute, a very deep person will know how good and how deep you are. You don't need anybody to social climb, to wear one Gucci shirt, to wear one good shoe, to drive one big car. If we drop that material aspect of our life, the greatest man in the Bible, Solomon, said in all these things, vanity of vanity. Work on yourself. You don't need anybody to social climb. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter, and thank you for keeping it short.
From what he said. So it's interesting when we use Obama as an example, or anybody else, for example, because you've probably just seen their glory. You don't know the journey. Trust me, Obama did not become president by just giving a speech or working on himself. See, it's even politics we are talking about. You have to network and be known to become the president of the United States of America. In fact, let's even not go far. Of even governor of Lagos State, you have to be known.
What is
so,
governor? You never talk chairman. Look
you
at
know,
us.
so let's not
what
just
what
always
he's trying to
speak
say-
on
what
the
he's trying to
light
say-
and forget
what
about it.
he's
No, I'm trying to say
say-
that no matter what, as long as you want to be successful, there is a level of networking. I agree with him saying we should have maybe called it social networking because we all have to network. But then,
but
you know, I said there's a thin line between, I mean, I'd rather call, if you
Networking
call it
and
networking,
climbing.
nobody will be agitated. But when you call it social climbing, it feels
climbing.
like you're doing something wrong. It's basically the same thing, but when you cross the line, then it becomes a problem.
I think it becomes social climbing when it's a bit desperate, but then it's networking when it's you
Yeah,
know
okay,
it's
so
an
in
the right
opportunity
way.
for you to present yourself.
I asked-
He said something. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. He said something about Obama working on himself and being able to. The 1 minute you get it's in New York. I lived in New York. In New York, you have your pitch 5-minute elevator ride is the only pitch you might ever get. You might be working for somebody for years and you've never met him. And you see him in the elevator, and that's 5 minutes is what can change your entire existence. that is you working on yourself and you being able to deliver in 5 minutes. Obama was an orator, so his talent is totally different. Being able to convince people out of the blue, he came from Chicago. You don't do that if you don't have a solid backing.
Background.
And that is the networking, and you even have to be in the room with those people to have that 1 minute to change your life.
Thank you.
So, I mean, you can look at it as social networking, you can look at it as social climbing. Either ways, it's social interaction.
Okay, so I was going to say, because I asked the question before we went on a break, that is social networking or social climbing meant for everyone? Because you see, no matter how, I don't want us to change it to networking, it's climbing. You want to climb to success, that's it. But you know how they say deep collect to deep? There must be something inside of you that would also allow those people say, you know what, this person is worthy to bring this person into our circle. So I don't want it to look like, oh, the person just stumbled on the thing and it just happened. Because for the love of God, people that marry wealthy people, they are always constantly finding themselves having to prove that they are not in the marriage because of the money. Because sometimes you can be married for the no, you constantly see them battling with that issue, you know, trying to prove to people that I didn't come here because of the money, I came here because of whatever. I think we should begin to own it. Do you understand? I had some money, but I knew that this other money would take me to a different level. So I worked on myself and I got to where I wanted to get to. You know, so let's not make it seem like, you know, it is what it is.
I think because of social media.
The moment you do that, that's when they will now call you a gold digger. You know, that is it transcends from social climbing to actually you are now in
digging for gold.
You're now
if there's gold there, let's dig it out.
You're now looking for money because that's what you're actually interested in.
You know, so, this takes me back to our conversation on Tuesday. Remember, fake it till you make it, when we started talking about content. And you just said something about something being in you as well that would definitely attract no matter how you try to position yourself.
Exactly.
Our first caller was talking about you buying different brands and all that. I mean, I don't think that is social climbing. That's just being ridiculous. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Even those that can afford it have got preferences. I know, I mean, you're in fashion, and I know you've met people who've got the money and they will tell you if there's any clothes that has a brand on it, don't bring it to me. Like, they don't want to see the label just shouty. They just want to be classy and, you know, just be different.
Most people that have money don't even wear labels that you know. They're exclusive labels that you only go in from a back door
to get them,
to get anything from there.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily need to go that far, but you have to build yourself. You have to be where you matter. I also know that people take this social climbing thing out of context. When they tell you, oh, you have to be at every event so that they will know you and know you are there. I don't believe in that, because I'm sorry, I'm going to get burnt out.
On Saturday,
that's not how I am wired.
I had a 50th on Sunday. My body could not carry me. I don't even see. That's what I'm saying. That
and there are people that do this every week.
That's what I'm trying to explain. What is weekend? They start from Thursday.
And they have
on Thursday they have like 4 parties, Friday 5 parties, Saturday 6 parties, and they
have
change.
a 9 to 5.
For me, even sitting through the makeup process, I'm done already.
Goodness.
You know, like that 1 hour, I'm just like, can I go
drained?
To bed?
Yes.
But I was gonna say, social media has increased the amount of social climbers we have now, because people are not relevant for worthy causes or reasons. People are relevant for just utter rubbish, like just no reason at all. And that's why I asked the question, what do you think Big Brother is? It's just the quickest way to become 1 million followers rich, and people almost, I'm sorry, people just start throwing brands at you and you start making money for no just reason. For what?
No talent.
When you meet those people and have conversations with them, you just realize
some are brain dead.
They're not even people you want in your immediate circle in terms of, let's be friends.
I didn't say all.
So I'm not trying to put down any. I love the show. I've had friends who have been on the show and come out and all of that. But what I'm trying to say is, social media in itself has almost reduced our values down to almost nothing.
Our
like
quality of
you
thoughts.
don't necessarily have to be smart, you don't have to be well spoken, you don't have to be educated, you don't have to be anything amazing. Just put yourself in front of a camera, make a couple of jokes, and voila.
Yeah, I think if you're bringing social media to this, then we now need to draw a line between social climbing and cloud chasers. Because at the end of the day, some of them are just online making noise, and it's not even translating to anything.
But that's
what social media. That's
but
what
that is
social
what social
climbing
climbing is.
Cloud chasing.
Yes.
No, because now
Hey.
at parties they're the ones who come in with a full entourage. Everybody's like, who is that? Who is that? And you just realize.
But I'm telling you that the who is that, there's still nothing in
Let's
it.
take some comments.
So it means that you are not climbing to anywhere.
No,
So
but you
Austin from Delta says, for me, social climbing on career is okay. But to take your kids to a school you cannot afford is not for me. I don't live false life. Some years ago, as a reporter, I went to have lunch at a 5-star hotel in Asaba and was embarrassed when one political figure also came in, asked, you are here? I was there because I have taste and I had my money to pay that I did.
Pay for it.
Let us stop false life. Why must I borrow to please people on social media? So that's Austin from Delta State, I think.
Okay, let me take
Elsie,
this one. You people are just amazing in all of your topics and discussions. As for me, I don't think social climbing is bad. Everyone has different concepts when it comes to being social. Big Brother is a case study. Well done, ladies. Bobby Kennedy from Jalingo, Taraba State. Hi.
Thank you, Bobby Kennedy.
Okay.
That's
there's
from
no
Zaria,
name.
Raphael Akori.
Okay, this is Raphael from Zaria. He says, social climbing, the B is silent. Social climbing, not climbing. Social climbing is not a bad thing, but people should never allow themselves to be looked down upon in life. So basically, that's what he's saying. So you should, I think that's where confidence also comes into play.
I was going to go there.
So confidence is a huge
So do you
deal
think it's
in-
coming from a place of poor self-esteem? Let me not even say low.
No.
No, it's a question.
I just think you keep putting it on the negative.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You want to be better.
Everybody social climbs. It's just
So look.
you know
look.
now everybody's doing these throwback pictures of I knew this person from when they were nothing to now that
Because
they're
now they are something. They should have done it when they
Why
were
didn't they
nothing.
delete that picture?
No, they should have done it when they were nothing.
No, they
Because
do
if
have
you're-
when they were nothing and now that they're something.
They should have done it when they were nothing. Why am I saying this? If you are from a background, let's take for example, you are from with all due respect to my Mushnites, you know, you're from a Mushin environment or a Jegunle environment, and you do not have what it takes, and you find yourself in an environment where we have the Banana Islanders, basically. And do you know the way the showboating that will happen there? They will overcome the Mushinites and their Jegunles, and what do you think will happen? They will cringe. And when they cringe, what happens? Self-esteem, self-confidence, zero. So what would they now try to do? No send, I go come out anyhow I be. That is where your confidence actually comes in, and you own who your personality is or who you are. So confidence has a role to play.
But how are Jegunle people and Banana Island people take jam in the same place?
No, see, I'm saying, for example,
Yes,
they
you are
find
not normal.
themselves.
I like being realistic.
So, no, let's be
because,
realistic.
I mean, how did that happen?
Look, let's say, for example, I'm from Mushin, for example, and I go to Banana Island to serve them. There is a party, okay? And I see them doing what they are doing, and I see, let me say I'm a guy, and I see a babe, hot girl, and I walk up to this girl, and I try to form like
Again,
a
I'm
big
being
boy.
realistic. Why exactly would you want to walk up to a babe there?
Because I like the girl.
Because why? See,
look,
Elsie is telling you to face your class.
no,
Thank you. You wanted to say something.
I think
That's
I
where
would like to say
confidence
I don't know
comes
anyone
in.
who was born in Banana Island. Everybody came from somewhere else. Aspiring to live in Banana or be in Banana or associate with people in Banana, it's not a bad thing because everybody came from somewhere and then are grouped there now as something. And all I'm trying to say is I don't see the wrong in social climbing only when it becomes desperate, in terms of you spend your last kobo just because you have to carry a Hermes purse, or you spend your last kobo just because you have to fly business class. All of a sudden nobody flies economy anymore, but it's always full. But
or you want to buy salad,
you know,
worth 5,000 naira.
I just think that, or you want to buy diamonds, or you want to shop at a certain district just because of certain people that go there.
Exactly.
It's always been that way, and I don't think it's
Richard from Lagos says a lady. Now this is why we're actually talking about this conversation today.
Yes.
He said a lady left her husband because he couldn't afford to send their kids to the school her friends' children attend. This social climbing is something else nowadays. This is why we're talking about it. So it's not like it's a bad thing for you to aspire to want to be in a certain class. I want to be in the place where when I walk in, everybody knows my name. I want to be a brand, a global brand. You know, when I entered that wedding, I will not lie to you. On Saturday, I will say, hey, God, I will get there one day. That me too when I come in. Because, I mean, I saw Omotola.
Who is who?
She was looking all beautiful and everything. Everybody, you know, hugging her and everything. I said, myself, I will be a somebody someday. You know, so it is okay for you to say, you know what, I want to be a known brand. I want to become someone that, you know, what happens tomorrow if Kate Middleton says she's wearing House of Water? Do you know what will happen to you? The excitement will be beyond this world. But for you to now say you want to pose as a Vera Wang when you are still household, that is where the problem is. You must accept, first of all, who you are. But the thing I keep saying is, how much dedication are you putting to whatever it is, however little it is that you're doing? What is the dedication that you're putting to it? Nothing. So some people just, these are the examples, your big brother people. They just want to blow. You don't have content, you don't have anything. So most times, amongst all of them that even leave the house, yes, they get all the followers and everything, but what then happens afterwards? Only very few are able to sustain. So that's why it's also very risky for you to quickly rise to the top. You must first of all have content, because it is your content that now keeps you sustained at the top. But if you are empty, and yes, God now brings an opportunity, you marry somebody that is a big man and you now rise to the top, what then keeps you there? Right? So those are the kinds of conversation I think, you know, I would like to leave our audience to keep thinking. So it is okay for you to social climb, but as you are climbing, make sure that there's content inside of you. So let me hear your final thoughts. Elsie, quickly, because I think we ran out of time.
This topic is not complete, but
it's not complete though.
As far as I'm concerned, we all have different ambitions and what we want to achieve, and yours might be ridiculous to me and mine might be ridiculous to the next person, right? But at the end of the day, just ensure you don't lose yourself, don't lose your humanity, don't overly compromise that you don't see the person in the mirror anymore, because at the end of the day, it's just you and yourself you have to climb to the point where you are comfortable, you are happy, you are contented. There is happiness and peace in that climbing. But when you climb so much that you don't even understand who is at the top anymore and it doesn't work, then maybe you've lost yourself. So just do everything in moderation, and not because somebody else is doing it, really, because you won't catch me in all parties, because but it doesn't stop me from being a media person.
How about you? Yes.
Practically, she said it all. If you're climbing the social ladder, or you want to get somewhere, be strategic about it. It's not a crime to be strategic about it, but you know, do it in such a way that you don't lose your personality and who you are in the process, and don't let go of your values in the process.
Absolutely. So let me leave the final words for our guest. Go now.
Honestly, I just think that whatever you do, do it consciously, do it ethically. Have your boundaries as a person, so you don't sell out on people, you don't lie on people, you don't cheat on people simply because you just want to step on someone to move up. If you're worthy of the position, you will attain it, but you have to have the capacity to sustain it. And it's important that you have something in you, like you said earlier, to carry you through. Because if you have 5 minutes with this CEO to give you 10 billion to go and do your project that would make him more money, what are you going to say? Then you start looking at him. You know, so you have to be prepared for those opportunities that we want, because even social climbing, as with every other thing, is not easy. You have to have something upstairs.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies. We had a fantastic conversation. We'll leave it there. Thank you, Ogonna. Thank you, Isi, and thank you, Elsie. All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, we're planning a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the Ways brand and watching the show. So do well to follow us now. It's at PlusTvAfrica. Like, share, invite your friends and family to watch and follow us as well. So if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Social climbers are prone to telling lies, over ambitious, greedy, hedonistic people are more likely to lack honesty and truthfulness. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.